Welcome back everyone, Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for moving out of my dad's house because his girlfriend and her kid were moving in? I, 18 male, but will be 19 in a month, moved out of my dad's house last month. It wasn't planned long-term. It actually went against what my dad and I had talked about, but I moved out because he was moving in his girlfriend and her kid, and I didn't like his girlfriend. Dad raised me on his own. He and my mom broke up when I was 5 months old, and she stopped being in my life. My dad first met his girlfriend when I was 6. They dated on and off for the last 12 years. They never lived together before, and they were never together for this long either, 2 years. But over the years, she pissed me off a lot and made me wish she'd settled down with someone else. This isn't a thing of me not liking anyone Dad dated. He was with someone else when I was 14, and I liked her a lot. This is more about this specific girlfriend than me not wanting Dad with anyone. I first started to dislike her when I was 8, and she told me she was going to take me to see my mom. She got all riled up because Dad and I had seen Mom a few days before, and my mom went up to Dad to yell at him for trying to get child support out of her. She ignored me completely and told Dad she didn't want her past mistakes to ruin her future. I was saying how I never wanted to see Mom again, and so Dad's girlfriend decided she'd take me to see her. My dad shut that down. Hard. His girlfriend said my mom needed to confront that I'm her kid. It felt like Dad's girlfriend didn't care what I wanted or how that would hurt me, and even though she later apologized, it felt forced. And like she was like, fine, whatever, sorry. But it made me see her differently. She and Dad broke up not so long after that. She still brings up Mom more than I would like when she and my dad are together. I resist the urge to tell her to shut the hell up. Half the time, I expect her to go behind our backs and try to get Mom involved. When I was like 10 or 11, she got kicked out of the coding class I was taking and almost had the cops called. Dad had asked her to pick me up. She needed her ID, but she forgot it. So the class organizer couldn't let her take me, and instead of calling Dad, she started a fight about it and started screaming for me to grab my stuff and go. The organizer said even if I wanted to go with her, she needed ID before she could let me go. They were just about to call the cops when she said she'd call Dad, and then he picked me up instead. It was late when he came, and she was angry for days after that. I was so embarrassed, and some of the kids made fun of me when it was going down. She didn't care, and I remembered her rolling her eyes when I said she was the reason the kids were making fun of me. Another thing that has really pissed me off about her, and this is a reoccurring issue, is when she sees me on the phone and snaps her fingers in my face. This would happen when I was on the phone when she came over. I was normally talking to family. Either my great-grandma, who was in a nursing home, she died 8 months ago, or out-of-state family. She expected me to end any call and pay attention to her when she came over. She didn't like that I'd be busy talking to family. If Dad was there, he'd say to leave me be, but she did it so many times. She'd even come and track me down in my bedroom and start snapping her fingers in my face. There's other stuff that has built up over time, and most of it is more like petty stuff. But I really don't like her anymore. The last time my dad and her broke up, she got pregnant with another guy's kid. When her and Dad got back together, they decided to try and make it work. I was hoping they wouldn't. I know that might sound bad, but I'd take so many other people over her. But Dad loves her, and when he told me they were moving in last month, I told him I'd find somewhere else to live. Dad told me I didn't have to, and in the 2 days it took me to figure something out, he tried to stop me. He told me I didn't need to, and I wasn't going to be kicked out. They were just coming to live with us. I told him I couldn't live with his girlfriend and I wasn't going to force myself to. I told him I wasn't stopping him from moving them in, but I was moving myself out before that happened. Things between me and Dad have been tense since I moved out. His girlfriend's offended that I moved out because they were moving in, and she tried to give me a piece of her mind or whatever. I ignored her. She told me I better be there nearly every day to make up for it, but I haven't been to Dad's house once. I made plans to do stuff with him, but any family dinner invites I don't accept. Dad told me it was extreme to move out when I had always planned to stay at least another 2 years. I told him I could not accept her being a part of my household and it was better I moved out when I did than disrespecting her like I knew I would. His girlfriend accused me of trying to break them up and ruin their relationship. She even called me moving out a stunt. I ended up blocking her number, but I hear her when Dad calls. She's apparently going to blame me if her kids' feelings get hurt in all of this. Am I the asshole? In the end, OP's an adult and they can make their own decisions. If they don't want to be in the same household as their father's girlfriend, who they very clearly have some justified issues with, they don't have to be. It sounds like OP's father's girlfriend, who I'm just going to call the girlfriend from here on out, has a lot of authority issues where she has perceived authority where she doesn't. From her snapping at OP while he's on the phone to trying to pull the card of, you better be here nearly every day. And if you're not, my child's hurt feelings, that's on you. And the way that OP opens this up by stating, almost as if by habit, that he doesn't have a problem with his father dating, he just has a problem with this specific girlfriend, makes me believe that he has heard, whether from his father or his father's girlfriend, you just don't want your father to date anyone because you're jealous, or some shit like that. And because of how often OP is hearing this, they're left assuming that this is just going to be a standard accusation they'll receive, thus needing to feel like they have to include the fact that their father has dated other women in the past and hasn't caused an issue. Which, if that paragraph was gone, and OP had just explained what he had, I would have never assumed that OP had some kind of, issue with his father dating someone. In fact, it's the inclusion of that paragraph that gives me the impression that he's being gaslit. And if you're wondering where the OhNoConsequences is, it's the father. The father not realizing that by moving in his entitled and extremely disrespectful girlfriend that it could cause his son to move out. And when the results of that come in, he seems to not be able to understand why. Thinking that, oh, he's just worried he's going to get kicked out. And not the fact that he just cannot stand to be around her. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to visit my mother for Mother's Day because of a hurtful comment, even when she apologized? Context. After Dad passed away, our mom sent me and my siblings to live with different relatives. After some time, she remarried again, and had 2 children, 12 female and 15 male, with Carlos, our stepdad. 3 years ago, Carlos contacted us so we could all reconnect, and it has been a steady but difficult journey ever since. We have a get-together at least twice a year, once on Mother's Day and once on November. Yesterday, I, 26 female, woke up to a text from my older brother, 30 male, in our group chat that just said, she doesn't want us to come. It was a screenshot from a text from our mother that said, hey Danny, I'm telling this to you because you're the most reasonable one of them, but I hope you can tell this to your siblings. It would mean a lot to me if you all could not come for Mother's Day this year. I just want to have an uncomplicated holiday with my younger children. Then Danny asks, LOL, are we complicated? And our mother says, you bring complicated feelings. I can't look at any of you without being reminded of him, and I just don't want to cry myself to sleep like the other years and what is supposed to be my day. At this, we all obviously canceled our arrangements. At night, Mom called me. She apologized, said she was just having a bad mental day and didn't think before she sent the text. That of course she wanted us there for Mother's Day. I told her that I wouldn't come, and that it was alright for her to not want us there, but she chose the most hurtful way to say so. She walked out on us once. She could have just stayed away. She started crying and apologizing, and I just hanged up. So, now none of us want to go to her house for Mother's Day. Her, Carlos, and the kids have been calling and sending a lot of messages saying she's sorry and she didn't really mean it. And I feel like an asshole for ignoring it. 2 of my older brothers say they're done with her, while one of them is as conflicted as I am. Am I the asshole? I wonder if the conflicted feelings the mom feels is guilt, because in case you didn't pick up on the fact that when OP was a child, they were sent away from their siblings in the life they knew to live with different relatives. The 4 of them were split up. They were forced to live in new households, new environments, completely isolated from the life they once knew. And then on top of that, when they were 11, considering they're 26 and the oldest of the mom's 2 new children is 15, they had to deal with the fact that their mother had started a brand new family and actually kept these kids. Didn't send them off somewhere new. At the passing of her husband her only thought was to just simply get rid of that family. And her kids were willing to forgive that and rebuild that relationship. But then they got hit with the text message of, I can't look at any of you without being reminded of him, and I just don't want to cry myself to sleep like the other years in what is supposed to be my day. Like, that sentence, with the context of how they were raised, is just, how could you not expect them to have the reaction they had? In my opinion, OP's response is justified. This is the consequence of their mother's actions and how she raised them, or how she didn't raise them, I suppose. But I'd like to throw this back the direction of the audience. Do you think OP should at least make an attempt to forgive their mother? And seeing it as a, look, we all have our bad days, we all have times where we say things we don't mean, and this is a delicate situation to try to rebuild this? Or is this grounds in your eyes just for, you know what, we tried this whole rebuilding the relationship way, but if you can't look at me without crying yourself to sleep, then this isn't gonna work? Because while I am in the boat that progress towards repairing the relationship is always the best step, it's hard to actively want to repair a relationship when there is so much past baggage like what the mother did with separating everyone, and then on top of that, finding out that them just looking at you makes them want to cry themselves to sleep at night. That is a difficult relationship to repair, but is it one worth repairing? I'll leave that choice up to you guys. Cross-posted from r/bestof. Originally collected by Mama Drama 99. This user does not have a tagline. Originally posted to r/trueoffmychest. This user is now deleted and was posted 3 years ago. My fiance almost died in a car accident. My mother-in-law told me he cheated on me. My fiance almost died in a car accident. That's when my mother-in-law told me he cheated on me with an ex. Now he's recovering well, and I feel so guilty for wanting to end it. I feel like a horrible person. We're supposed to get married on August 20th in a small ceremony. I've, female 33, been with my fiance, male 34, for 6 years, engaged for 1. The best years of my life. He's brilliant in every way, or so I thought. The accident happened 6 weeks ago. A drunk driver hit my fiance's car. I spent the worst night in my life in the hospital, waiting for answers from the doctors, and he went through hours and hours of surgery. His parents and brothers were also there, waiting. I've always loved his family and they me. His mom is, or was, one of my favorite people, and we got along very well. She was happy to have me as her first daughter-in-law. She's religious, and when my fiance was hovering between life and death, she was worried about his sins. So, she told me that he cheated on me about 2 months ago with an ex he bumped into. She explained that it was because of the wedding and the stress of planning it. Apparently, I've been both stressed out and stressing him out. He had a weak moment. It was a one-time thing and he regretted it so much. He asked his parents for advice on what to do, and they told him not to say anything. As long as he's remorseful and as long as it was me he wanted, he should forget about what he did and move on. His whole family knew. After the hospital, he moved back to his parents' house because we live in a flat without lifts. I visit him every day. I haven't told him that I know, and his family is acting like nothing has changed. They're very happy he's doing better, and understandably so, and my presence by his side is very helpful according to him and his family. Now, both fiancé and his parents are talking about us being able to get married on the day we said after all. I feel awful, because I don't want that. Our relationship was over the moment I found out about the cheating. I stayed because I loved, still do, him, and I wanted him to feel better. I couldn't break his heart while he's recovering. I also thought the wedding was postponed and that we would have more time for him to recover fully and be strong and independent again, so I could leave with clear conscience. I tried to speak to his mom today, but she just started hyperventilating and kept telling me not to do this. She made a mistake by telling me, and that I shouldn't take advantage of what she said in desperation to punish him and kill his spirit. He's still recovering and he needs me. I haven't been thinking since my talk with his mom about everything, and I'm so angry at him. I'm ashamed that even when I was worried about his life, I was very angry and resentful. We were supposed to have our wedding in this beautiful manor house that he found that was all-inclusive, with our most important people. My best friend is a DJ, and my parents paid for the whole thing, even though they're much poorer. So I don't know where the stress has come from. We fixed everything in a week. I'm so angry, and I've kept bottling it up since the accident. I'm afraid I'm going to explode soon. Update. I told my fiancé that I know about his infidelity and canceled the wedding. He still wants a second chance. I have written here 3 days ago before I talked to my fiancé. This is after I told him I know about his cheating. I started by telling my parents, who are paying for the wedding, about what happened and that I'm canceling the wedding. Hopefully they can get back some of what they paid via their home insurance. I have told them that I'm going to pay the rest of the damages. My dad refused. I insisted. It's not up to them. Smiley face. Since my fiancé still lives with his parents, I felt that I would be outnumbered if I went alone to end it. Text or call wasn't an option since he meant a lot more to me than that. And I really wanted to see his face and ask, what the fuck? I also wanted him to see my hurt. I don't want it to be comfortable for him. Cheaters must see the hurt they caused and hopefully learn from it. I took my mom with me. When I told him that the wedding was off, and the reason why, he started crying. He told me all the things they say in desperation. He was foolish. He didn't think. He was stressed out. He was scared. It meant nothing. He regretted it. He didn't want to tell me because it meant nothing, and he didn't want to hurt me. I should give him a chance to prove himself and his loyalty. He can ask his parents to pay for the wedding. We can postpone the wedding indefinitely. I can take the apartment, and he will live with his parents, as long as it takes for me to forgive him. I haven't cried so much as I did when I was listening to his bullshit, and afterwards, on my way home, how could he do this to me? He didn't give me a satisfying answer to why he did this to me, to us. I've cried myself to sleep every night since the accident, and yet I cried like I've just found out. I'm going to stay in the apartment that we bought together, and he will stay with his parents. Prices have gone down these last couple of months, and we both agreed that we don't want to sell for less than what we paid. But the moment it goes up again, we're selling. I have started packing his things now, and tomorrow I'm renting a van to move his things to his parents' house. Sorting out his stuff and packing his clothes made it real for me. I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Why do I still love him so much? He's been texting me, and he has called me twice, and we talked mostly about mundane stuff, but also about us and our relationship. His mom has called me to say that she felt guilty for first not advising him to come clean, but even for later, divulging his secret to me without his permission. She was disappointed that I took advantage of her moment of panic, but that she understands that I'm hurt. She said he will do his best to win me back. I'm a bit irritated about that fact that none of them, including my parents, believe that it's really over, and I don't have the energy to prove my point either. I just need some alone time now, and some peace and quiet. It is kind of wild the mother is phrasing it as though she was taken advantage of in a time of desperation when divulging the fact that her son had cheated on her future daughter-in-law, or ex-future daughter-in-law at this point. In the end, no accountability was taken, and OP was left with the same questions they had going in, hoping to at least get some answers as to why. But instead was just met with excuses. If there was ever a shot of them getting back together, he blew that chance, because he took no accountability whatsoever. I'm also left with the idea of if planning a wedding was too stressful for him to remain faithful, then how is the rest of the marriage gonna look? Cross-posted from r/best of. This was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, I'm keeping the garlic. The original OP is Top Travel 7135, and was posted to r/mytheasshole November 26, 2023. Full post plus update 1 year later. Am I the asshole for not going to the wedding of my dad and his affair partner? When I was 17, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2 years later, she passed away. During these 2 years, my dad was not around much. He was always working and going on business trips. My aunt and grandma took care of mom. About 5 months after my mother's passing, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend. I was pissed. I yelled at him how quickly he moved on from mom. When they decided to tell me, they had been in a relationship for 3 years. My dad had been cheating on my mom while she was dying. His business trips were to meet his affair partner. I was so angry I packed my stuff and left his house. I haven't spoken to him since that day. Currently, I'm 25. The only family I speak to is an aunt who helped me when I left my dad's house. A few days ago, my aunt called me. She asked me how I was, then asked me if I heard from Dad. I said, why would I hear from him again? My aunt said Dad is getting married to his affair partner, and by going to his wedding, it would help us mend our relationship. I said, why would I do that? He's dead to me. There was a silence on the phone for a bit before my dad replied, asking if that was what I felt about him. I immediately cut the call when I heard his voice. I realized he was with my aunt when she made the call to me. I texted my aunt telling her I asked her not to tell Dad anything about me, and she agreed back then. She texted me back saying I was an asshole for saying what I said, and my dad is crushed hearing that, and that I should move on by now. I didn't want to argue with someone who helped me, so I blocked her. Over the next 2 days, I got sent a wedding invitation to my mailbox. The only person in my family who knew my address was my aunt, and she gave my number to various members of the family. I'm being bombarded with calls and texts from Dad, uncles, cousins, aunts, saying I should give him a chance and come to the wedding. Some calling me names for saying what I said. I got a text from the affair partner saying my dad is thinking of postponing the wedding and I should just talk to him. For context, the affair partner was a friend of my mom and knew she had cancer. I said it's not my fault if he postpones the wedding. I don't want to have a relationship with Dad or her. They're trying to force it. It got quiet after that, but being told by so many people from my dad's side I'm an asshole did leave me conflicted, but I'm sticking to my guns. So, am I the asshole? Relevant comments. Your aunt violated your trust and the rest of your family needs to be cut off too. OP responds, yeah, I've blocked 39 numbers, but what my aunt did really made me sad. I genuinely thought she cared for me. Another commenter comments, it feels like there's a catch here for them to want to reach out now and not years ago. OP responds, actually, I thought about this too, and I think you may be right because I got some texts like, it's a son's duty to take care of his father, and your future kids would want their grandfather in their life. On safety. Thank you. I'm in the process of changing my number and updating contacts. As for where I live, it's a pretty secure apartment. You can only come in after me or someone buzzes you in. Then you have to write down your name with security and the elevator works with a key fob only. I'm hoping that I don't have to move, but keeping my options open if it escalates. Top comment from Child of Obama. Not the asshole, your dad cheated on your mom while she was dying, and now the whole family is upset you've calmly expressed how you feel about it by A, cutting your dad out, and B, not attending the wedding. Your aunt also violated your trust by giving your contact information out without your consent. I'd say cut the whole family out at this point. OP is voted not the asshole, with a mini update in the comments. I sent a text to all 39 numbers who called me or texted me detailing what Dad did and blocked all of them. I don't care for their responses. Update post, December 20th, 2023. A bit less than 1 month later. Hello. First of all, I wanted to thank all who commented on the first post and all who messaged me. It really helped me stick with my decision to not go to the wedding. I wanted to update earlier, but it's been pretty hectic with work. So after the many texts and calls from multiple family members, I sent a text to all the numbers detailing what my dad did and why I choose to be no contact with him. I then blocked all the numbers. I have changed my number, but kept the old number in a separate phone to collect evidence if they start to harass me from random numbers. But luckily, nothing happened, and I thought that was that. A week or so after that, my aunt's fiancé came to my apartment. He knows what time I get off work and was waiting for me in the parking lot. I was apprehensive, but he assured me he only wanted to talk. And according to him, the text I sent has caused a shitstorm in the family. He told me that some of the cousins who did not know what happened in the past started to question Dad and affair partner, and they started to get defensive and deny it. But someone revealed that it was true. This has caused a massive argument within the family, with some cousins pulling out of the wedding. Dad wanted to postpone the wedding so he can talk to me, but the affair partner threatened to leave him if he did that. The news of what Dad and affair partner did also reached some of their friends, who were at one point friends of my mom as well. Some of them have also pulled out of the wedding, and this caused the affair partner to have a breakdown and started blaming anyone who brings it up, family members included from the wedding. According to Aunt's fiancé, she's blaming this all on me. says I did this intentionally. I laughed at that. The wedding is still somehow happening. I asked him about my aunt and how all this started, and he said all he knows is that there was a conversation of how bad the family would look if I wasn't at the wedding, and that my aunt offered to call me. He said that he disagreed, but she did it anyway. He said that he's only there because he felt I needed to know what happened. I thanked him, but said I will be going completely no contact with her and by extension him as well. He agreed, wished me well, and left. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely okay. I miss my aunt, I miss my mom, but I know what I did was the right thing. I'm currently staying with my girlfriend and she's been cheering me up by coming up with absurd ways to ruin the wedding. As a lot of you said, I should try therapy, and I'm going to take that advice. Some of the comments have made me realize that I have bottled up a lot of grief and anger. I'm super nervous about it, but I also feel it'll do me good. So, once again, thank you all for your comments and advice. Ciao. Comment on girlfriend's ideas. The very first idea she came up with was, let's go to the landfill and catch some rats, and let's release them at the wedding. It got progressively worse from that. Obviously, this is just for fun, and I have no intention of going anywhere near that wedding, but reading some of the ideas here is giving me a good laugh. Update post, December 22nd, 2024. 1 year later. Hello, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I logged in today and saw a lot of messages asking me what happened and how I'm doing. I wasn't sure if I should write this or if anyone would even see it, because I don't know if I'm doing it right. But here it goes. For everyone asking what happened at the wedding, I don't know much. All I know is that they got married. No one from that family contacted since then. And I didn't go asking around either. I'm at peace with it. As for me, things are different now. First, I want to thank everyone who reached out and asked how I've been holding up. Your kindness means more than I can put into words. I'm getting better, slowly, though the journey hasn't been easy. A lot has changed since my last update. I'm single now, and have moved to a new city. My ex, who I'll call Maya, and I separated about 4 months after my last post. We celebrated 2 years together in March and talked about our future, but I was a mess. Therapy started well, but I quickly realized just how many unresolved issues I had bottled up from losing my mom. I was struggling emotionally, crying at random, worrying for some fucked up thoughts that I might somehow turn into my dad, and spiraling with fears I couldn't control. Maya had dreams of marriage and kids, and I knew I wasn't in the right place to give her the future she deserved. It would have been very selfish of me to ask her to stay until I got better. We had a long, honest talk, lots of tears, and ultimately decided to part ways. It wasn't easy, but it was the best decision for both of us. Maya and I still cared for each other deeply, and she, along with my friends, checked on me every day after the breakup. I wasn't left to face things alone, and for that, I am grateful. In July, I was offered the chance to move to the head office of my company in another city. After discussing it with my therapist, I decided it would be a good opportunity to change my surroundings and start fresh. In September, I made the move. My best friend used 25 days of his 30-day holiday to help me pack, move, and settle in. I can't overstate how much that meant to me. I have incredible friends. Since then, I've been taking things one day at a time. The new office has been amazing. Everyone was so welcoming, which was a big relief since I'd been anxious about starting over somewhere new. I now attend online therapy sessions twice a week and grief counseling in person here. It's been helping a lot. I'm in a much better headspace than I was before, though I still don't feel ready to date again. For now, I'm focusing on my career and on continuing to heal. Once again, thank you to everyone who has supported me, whether through messages or just by caring enough to check in. It means the world. Ciao. I have certainly found myself on both ends of both breaking the news to someone and having the news broken to me, where you take someone's word at face value, or in this case for OP's family, they took the father's word that, oh, we started dating after my wife passed away. So they see it as, oh, OP is just being stubborn and unreasonable. But then, the news gets broken to them. No, my father actually cheated on my mother for 3 years and the affair partner was aware she had cancer. And the lie crumbles apart. It's definitely a shock and awe position to be in because you take someone's word at face value and the next thing you know, you've been lied to and you've been sent on an errand run from someone who just manipulated the hell out of you. I've also been in the position where I had people coming at me with only half of the story, then filled them in with the other half and watched everything around them crumble. I do wonder if OP's father just genuinely thought this would never come up again when he sent the entire family to basically just harass OP nonstop. Like what, were you expecting the truth not to come forward in that instance? Like, come on. In the end though, I'm happy that OP made the right choice and decided not to attend the wedding and stick to their morals, and I'm glad they're doing better. Sounds like they had a bit of a rocky road to go through first, but as time's gone on, it seems they've began to put themselves back together, and hopefully at some point they do get to a point where they're confident in who they are and who they want to be. Oh, also, as like a nifty little note that I remembered like while editing that I totally forgot to add, the father only cared to reconnect with his son after he realized that optically it's gonna look really bad if his son's not there, and people are going to ask questions. Hey, how come your son's not going to the wedding? Like, Buddy was more concerned with the optics of his wedding than actually having a relationship with his child.
Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSups. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup. And you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.